Now this video is for the guys that lost fifth and reverse in your T45s. So if you guys lost like fifth gear and maybe reverse in your T45, odds are this fella's probably why. This right here is your fifth reverse shift fork. Now I know I've already gone through and taken care of everything in this transmission, but the problem is my fifth and reverse shift fork was still actually broken right here in the centerpiece, right here in the center web. The problem is nobody has these, and Tremec, Borg Warner obviously do not carry these anymore. So here's the part number on this one, but this is a standard throw that was in this transmission, but you can see the damage was broken here and here. Now this is the one that was originally in this transmission. It's got a different one, but the different one is still broken right here. Now this spot right here, this is actually for your reverse slide collar. This right here is to engage your fifth gear. Now, not only is the 1-2 shift fork and the 3-4 shift fork a problem, but apparently this fifth and reverse is a problem as well. So you can't find them. You can't get them anywhere. But I made a call to Hanlon Motorsports, and they actually had one, maybe even two of them left from another transmission they had torn down, and were gracious enough to sell this to me. So now I'm going to tear this thing back apart and replace that, because on mine it's just broken here, which is fairly common, and you know, I know that was going to be on borrowed time, and the only real upgrade is to go with like a billet fork that like ProForce makes. Hanlon doesn't even make one yet for it. The fact that Bob and the guys at Hanlon Motorsports were gracious enough to sell me a replacement is, I mean, it's words enough, really. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a real quick way to swap this one fork out. Now the other two forks, yeah, it's not going to be as easy as this. This right here obviously has to be done while the transmission's out of the vehicle. It makes it a ton easier unless you want to try to get a press and a bearing puller and everything underneath the car. I don't think you want to do that. But both ends of the transmission do have to be torn apart, but it's primarily everything in the tail shaft housing, obviously. So first off, obviously what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull that shifter back off of there and get that tail shaft housing back off. Now I do also want to note that this may not be the tell-all end-all fix for you. I mean, you could have synchro issues and everything else that even caused this to happen. But also there are 3 different versions of this same arm. This is a standard throw, but they make a short throw and a long throw. So you need to actually check and see which ones you have in there, run the part numbers, and see if it's even available anywhere, which sadly, most likely it's not. But if you can find a core, or you can find another transmission that you can tear parts out of and get this fork out of, if you're having trouble with your fifth and reverse, then by all means do that. All right, shifter's removed. We're gonna go ahead and knock this roll pin out of there. Now be careful when you do this, because there is a spring and ball bearing under here. That's the detent ball. So that's what these little spots are for that ball to sit in, so you get that notchiness feeling when you're shifting. And obviously it's there for a reason. It helps keep the car in gear. All right, so I went ahead and slid this all the way back. I'm gonna knock that pin out, and then I'll slide that rod forward, and all this is gonna come out. All right, so I knocked the pin through. We're gonna push that rod forward now, and then that will free this. So now that that's forward, we're gonna go ahead and pull this out slowly. As you can see, there's the roll pin, there's the ball bearing, there's the spring. That's your detent area. So now we have it all set up. We're gonna take our 13mm and gun all these bolts out. All right, so now we got our tail shaft housing off there, and you can still see right in here where it's broke off. And I mean, I would have, like I said, replaced it, but I didn't have one to replace it with until this one was sourced. Now here is the other roll pin we have to knock out. But the thing is that shaft needs to not only just come out, but it needs to spin. So we need to take that shaft and it has to go this direction. So to do that, we have to take the bell housing off as well. And that's why I said it sucks that you have to do this out of the side of the car. But it's so much easier this way. You just knock that roll pin out, take that shaft, spin it, and boom, slide that shaft right off of there and get that shift fork right out. All right, so I got the bell housing off. I'm not gonna lie, it's literally taken me more time to tell you guys about it than me actually doing it. I've literally got like 10 minutes total wrapped up in tearing this thing down. You can see these are the shift forks we already replaced, but this is the rod that needs to spin to come out with that little pin. Then that rod can come forward and that fella can be free. All right, so now that I've got the rod removed, this slides right off. And there you can see where my breakage is and why I'm so thankful that Bob and them had a spare one. And now I'm gonna have it completely tore down, waiting on UPS to get here so I can throw it back together. Went ahead and addressed another issue, and that was when I tore it down last time, I didn't put a new input shaft seal, so I went ahead and took care of that now. All right, and got the new one from Hanley Motorsports. As you can see, that's not broke off. Man, that thing is pretty. Put new pads on it and everything for me. And what we're gonna do, I'm literally gonna pull that rod back out, slide that on there, boom. Well, actually, we'd go this way, but yeah. All right, roll pins back installed, forks on. That's pretty, it wraps all the way around. The other one snapped off right there. Now, it's just reassembly exactly the same way it came apart. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and button this thing back up now, guys, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next one.